Welcome back to Mohawk Motors, everybody. My name is Jason. You can see I've got the truck moved over into the next bay. It's time to get started on the interior of this thing and get all of it squared away. All right, so I think I should start with just showing you where we're at, right? So the truck that the cab and bed are off of that had the messed up frame was obviously in a front end collision if you've been following along on the series. Blew the airbags and busted up the windshield. Now, before I bought the second truck to combine these two together, I didn't think I was going to be fixing this truck. So I may or may not have taken some parts out of it for some of my other trucks. And those parts were the carpet. It had a pretty nice carpet in it, so I took that out and put it in my blue single cab. And the headliner, which was also really nice. And I took it out and put it in my blue single cab. But everything else that belongs to this truck is still here in this truck. I've got the A-pillar covers, I've got the door sills, the lower knee panel for the dash, all in here. And the seats, obviously. Now these are just the work model seats. I think I have a nicer set of seats around here somewhere with a flip down console. In fact, I'm pretty sure I do. So we're gonna put some nicer seats in it with a flip down console. It's just a crank window, manual lock truck, nothing fancy, but the door panels are all really nice. Like the interior of this thing was really nice. So I'm gonna borrow / steal the airbags out of the white cab. I think it's got the same color interior, which is just nice. If not, I think the truck that I borrowed the engine out of has the same color interior. So I'll be able to get the airbags out. It's my understanding, and I'm not super duper familiar with the airbag systems in these trucks, that if you're in an accident that deploys the airbags, the supplemental restraint module, which is underneath the driver's seat, needs to be replaced. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not. So I think the way I'm gonna tackle this, and before I get into too much else, I wanna get the airbag stuff sorted out. So I'm gonna get the steering wheel airbag out, and I'm gonna get the passenger airbag out. I'm gonna go see if I have another pair that'll match, that should work. And then we're gonna get those replaced first and see if we can get the airbag light extinguished. So I'm gonna get started on that stuff, and then I'll bring you guys back when I have something else to tell you. All right, folks, so I've been getting all the stuff that I need out of the white parts cab, the donor cab. And I think I have everything. So I've got the steering wheel airbag, I've got the passenger airbag, and I double checked, I held them up next to each other. This airbag does match the existing one. The steering wheel airbag does match the existing one. So that's really great news. Now, I believe I also need this. This is the airbag sensor that goes under the driver's seat that I was telling you about. This is out of the white cab. I have no reason to think that this wouldn't be good. And I think that needs to be replaced. I think after the airbags are deployed, that is no good and it needs to be replaced. I've also got the transfer case shifter, because you'll remember that white truck was 4-wheel drive. So we have a 4-wheel drive drivetrain. Might as well use it. So I've got the transfer case shifter, the little cover, the little mounting ring, all of those pieces there. And I've got this cab all cleaned out, stripped out, vacuumed out, and ready for me to start doing stuff. Now, I really don't want to accidentally deploy these airbags. One, because I don't think I have another pair. So like I can't, if I blow these up, then I don't have airbags for this thing. But two, because airbags going off is violent. I definitely don't want them to accidentally deploy while I'm anywhere near them. But I also just don't want them to deploy because they may cause even more damage inside of this truck and then I gotta fix it. So what I'm gonna do is pull the codes out of this thing because the airbag light is on, so it should have some stored codes. And I did this earlier. It had 3 codes in it. 2 of them were airbag deployment codes, and I think the third one was request for deployment. I can't remember, but I'm gonna get the codes up. We'll take a look at it, and then I'll take you through what I'm gonna try to do to see if I can fix this without getting airbags exploded in my face. Okay, so I'm connected up here, and I've got the same 3 codes that it had before. We've got B0018, passenger frontal deployment loop voltage out of range. So I think that's for the passenger airbag is blown. B0026, driver frontal deployment loop open. I believe that is because the driver's airbag has been deployed. And then B0051, deployment commanded. So, like I said, I don't know a ton about this system. But what I'm gonna try to do first is get rid of the deployment commanded code. And my concern, my worry here is if I just put new airbags in, as soon as I flick the key on, that deployment commanded is gonna take action because that comes from this little guy right here, and it's gonna immediately blow my airbags. So what I wanna try to do first is change out this module with the one from the white truck. I'm going to disconnect the battery, change the module, and then connect the battery back up and re-pull the codes, and we'll see what we get. Disconnected the battery. I didn't even bother unbolting just so I don't get confused of which is which. This is the one from the white truck. It's plugged in. Connected the battery back up, flick the key on. Now I'm going to go through and pull my codes again. I still do not have I still haven't put the new airbags in. I'm not going to put those airbags in until I'm pretty darn sure that I've got this sorted out. So I'll go through here and we'll see what codes we have now. It should have the same 3 codes, but then if I clear them, what I'm hoping to see is that airbag deployment commanded code go away, and we should then only have the other 2 codes. The reading I've done about these things says that they're specific to their system. Now, to my knowledge, the main components of this system are the impact sensors in the front, which we're using the impact sensors that match the replacement module. We're using the impact sensors from the white truck. And the airbags, which are also the ones from the white truck. So those should match this airbag sensor module from the white truck. So my thought process here is, using all of those good components, we should be good to go. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna learn together, I think. And hopefully we're gonna learn without blowing up airbags in my face. All right, so let's see here. All right, so there we are. We've got the same 3 codes. Oh, no, we've got different codes now. We've got passenger front deployment loop, that's the same. We've got frontal deployment loop open, that's the same. And then we've got option configuration error. I think I'm gonna have to go hit the internet and see what that means. Does that mean that this module will not work in this truck because it's a different part number? Let me go talk to Google. I'll get back to you. Google tells me that B1001 option configuration error is triggered when the VIN number programmed into this module does not match the VIN number of the BCM and the PCM. So this prompted me to do something that I needed to do anyway, which is program the correct VIN into the PCM, right? The PCM stores the VIN number, the gauge cluster stores the VIN number, the body control module stores, all these little modules store the VIN number in them. And obviously I'm using a computer out of a different truck than what it's in now, which isn't a big deal to me. It runs, drives, it doesn't really matter unless you live in a place that is going to test emissions by plugging in and reading the computer, because they're going to read the VIN number out of the computer. And if that doesn't match the VIN number on the registration, which is the VIN number under the windshield, you're not going to be able to pass. So I needed to correct that anyway and make sure that nobody ever, if this truck ends up in a place that they test emissions by plugging in, or even if they just take it to a mechanic who needs to plug it in and read the VIN for whatever reason. Now the VIN number saved in the PCM matches the VIN number on the dashboard. And according to Google, I can use a Tech 2 and change the stored VIN in this to whatever VIN number I want. So I'm gonna get hooked up with my Tech 2 here, which was, that thing has bailed me out of so many problems and saved me so many times. And it just does stuff that nothing else will do. So I'm gonna use the Tech 2 to tell that module to learn the correct VIN, and then that should eliminate our B1001 code. And I do notice here also, those are the only 3 codes we have. So it got rid of the airbag deployment commanded code, which is what we wanted to do anyway. So I think we're on the right track. I think if I get this option configuration error code sorted out, that should only leave us with the 2 airbag deployment loop codes. And I'm 99% sure those will get fixed when we replace the airbags. So I've never done this before. Let me get the Tech 2 hooked up and see if I can figure out how to command that module to learn the right VIN. All right, well, last update for tonight, team. So I went all through this thing with the Tech 2, and I can't find a procedure or a special function or anything like that to reprogram the VIN in this little supplemental restraint module. So I did some more reading through Google and some forums and stuff, and it turns out you can do it with the Tech 2, but you also need to be able to connect to the GM tech line, which I am not able to do. So unfortunately, I can't reprogram this module to the right VIN, or excuse me, I can't reprogram that other module that I have, the good module, to this truck's VIN. But what I did find is there's a company called My Airbags that can reset your module after you've been in an accident. So I can take this module out, send it to them. They will fix it. They will take out that airbags deployed code, and then they'll send it back to me good as new. So it doesn't need to have the VIN reprogrammed or anything like that. I should be able to just plug it back in, and they guarantee it that I'll be able to just plug it back in and everything will be good to go. So I got that process started, printed out the shipping label. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'll run to the UPS store and get that shipped out. So hopefully I'll have it back maybe Wednesday or Thursday of next week, which will be, that'll be just fine. And that gives me, fortunately, this little module, you know, I only need to access it from under the driver's seat. So that doesn't stop me from doing all the other stuff I need to do in here. And the next thing I want to focus on is getting the hole cut out for the four-wheel drive shifter, which you can see they've got a dimpled spot here, a raised spot in the floor pan for that. And I think the easiest way for me to do it is going to be, I'm just going to cut out that piece of the floor from the white cab and then line it right up on this as a template. There's plenty of shape in it, so it should be very easy to get lined up. I'll line it up as a template, trace the holes, make all the holes I need to make, and then I'll just be able to bolt the four-wheel drive shifter right into this thing like it was there the whole time. So that should be relatively simple, but like I said, it's after 11 o'clock and I'm tired, so we're going to do that tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Well, hello everybody. So it's the next evening, and I do a little pre-work with the camera off, and went and got my template cut out of the white cab so I can mark my holes in this cab. I'll see if it shows for you, but there's a nice pronounced hump down here at the bottom, as well as a very gentle ridge and another hump up here at the top. So very easy for me to locate this, and I can mark off my holes for all of my screws and bolts, and most importantly, the hole for the shifter itself to sit down into. And this will make it very easy for me to cut out my floor, make sure I have space for the shifter, and I'll know that all my holes are lined up. Easy peasy. There you go. So now I think I'm going to drill my holes first, and then I'm going to cut out my opening, and then I'll go around with my little reamer and get all the sharp burrs off. And then we'll get the shifter, the transfer case shifter, bolted in there. Piece of cake. Well, do you ever forget to hit the record button, guys? Sorry. But it's back in there. It was super simple. I just drilled a hole at each corner, drilled the holes for each bolt, like I said, and then just used the cutoff wheel to connect the dots between my holes, and shazam. Lined right up. I mean, it's close enough. That's close enough to factory location that I don't think it's going to have any issues. So now that that's done, I can get on with putting the rest of the interior back in this thing. We'll do the, we'll get the padding in. I'm going to vacuum this carpet really well, and then we'll get that put in. And then we'll do all the little accoutrements, right? The little spare tire jack, or the jack holder, and the seats, and the blah-de-blah-de-blah, the door sills, all the little knickknacks and odds and ends. I'm just putting stuff back where it came from, so I'm not gonna record this. It's not exciting and you can't see really well anyway. I'll bring you back once I've made some more progress. Guys, I've been getting after it down here. This thing's coming along really well. Figured I'd give you a little sneak peek. But look at how nice this carpet cleaned up. It's not perfect up here. I think when I get it detailed, they'll be able to get the rest of the dirt out of this carpet here on the floor. And then, I mean, look how nice it cleaned up. The shifter fits perfect, little post support perfect. It's looking really good, guys. Got all the spare tire tools back, the jack and the little wheel chocks back. I'm really happy with how this thing's coming. This interior is gonna be nice. I've got a nice set of seats out of these are like an 03 to 05 style seat. They're not perfect. I thought I might have some a little bit better, but these are still, they're pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't have any perfect 99 to 02 style seats, but I think these are more comfortable anyway, and they'll be great in this truck. It'll be very comfortable. We'll be able to drive it. We're gonna add the flip down, flip up center console, so you can have a third person in there with you if you want, or just somewhere to store your stuff. A little bit more cleaning to do on those seats. I gotta make a little change on the driver's seat. Those 03 to 05 style seats, the driver presence thing is different. So I just gotta snip the plug off of the original seat and add it onto this one. Not a big deal, just 2 wires, cut, splice, no big deal. And then I'll get those bolted in. One other thing that I thought of that I'm gonna do, because I think it'll make the truck just a teeny bit nicer and I'll feel better about the finished product, is this one has, it's a replacement key. And I have 2 basic options here. I don't wanna have a replacement key. I wanna have a Chevrolet key. I can take the lock cylinder, the ignition cylinder, and the door locks out of the white cab and put those into it, and then just do a key relearn and it'll be good to go with a nice Chevrolet key. Or I can go get a new Chevrolet key cut. I honestly, like, if I don't use it out of the white truck, they're gonna go to scrap, so I'm just gonna snatch them out of there. The ignition cylinder and the door locks, it's not a big deal to change them, and I think it'll make the truck a lot better. For me, like I said, I like having a Chevrolet key. I don't like these replacement keys as much. So I'm gonna do that too, but it's Friday night. I've still got some time. I'm gonna keep grinding along on this thing, see if I can't get this whole interior put back together. Well, folks, it's it's a little after midnight. It's like 12:30, and I'm stuck. I don't want to put any more together until the supplemental restraint module gets back. I did manage to go get that shipped out today. Like I said, it's Friday, so I'm hoping to have that back by Wednesday or Thursday of next week. But until that gets back, I don't really want to put this thing any further together. There's one more thing I can do before it gets back here, but that's kind of it. So I got the seats all installed. I got the wiring the connector changed over on this driver's seat. Man, I wish I had a better driver's seat. Got the center console in, passenger seat in, carpets all in, lower dash is all put together. I did go ahead and switch it over to a factory key. And an important thing to remember if you do this, if you change out a lock cylinder and ignition cylinder, you got to make sure you change out your locks and your doors also. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself locked out. So I did do that. And I'm glad I did that. I like having a factory key better. Crawled underneath, got the transfer case shifter all hooked up, so 4-wheel drive is working again. And the only other thing I can do until that, or the only other thing I really want to do before that, why can't I think of it? Before the airbag module gets back here, is I can do the windshield. So the white cab has a good windshield in it, and I have the glue, the windshield adhesive. So I think tomorrow while I'm down here, I'm gonna try to get this windshield removed, and then assuming that goes okay, then I'll probably get the good windshield pulled out of the white cab and work on getting it into this cab. So, but once I do that, I'm kind of stuck. The white cab has a good headliner in it, so I'm gonna grab that. But I need to put the A-pillars in. If I put the headliner in, if I put the A-pillars in, I can't pull the dash out to do the passenger airbag. I don't want to do the airbags until after I've put the module in. So you can see where I'm kind of stuck. But I think that's it. Yeah, it's like overall, it's coming together. It looks good. I think it's gonna be a nice truck for someone to drive around. I mean, I'm gonna drive it around for a while once it's finished and through inspection and stuff, but once I've had my fun with it for a little bit, it'll be for sale, and I think someone else will really enjoy this thing. It'd be a, I mean, it'll be a nice little single cab short bed truck for someone to enjoy. So I'm excited. I feel good. It's nice to produce something so nice. Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. We got an early start today, and I want to keep moving on this truck. I want to try to have it as ready as possible for when that module gets back. It'll be more or less ready to go. So I got to get the windshield done on this thing. The windshield in the truck currently, it's all cracked up and banged up like it's junk. I've never successfully removed a windshield myself. I've never successfully installed a windshield myself. Actually, that's not true. I've done a couple windshields in square bodies, but I've never done one of these in these GMT 800 trucks. These are glued in. But I have had to get a couple of mine replaced over the last few years, and I watched the glass guy do it when that happened. And I think I can do it. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna start trying to get this broken windshield removed. I figure this windshield is no good, so if I break it worse, like, it's already garbage. So to do that, I gotta pull some of the trim off. I gotta pull the windshield wiper arms off. I gotta pull the cowling off. I gotta pull the weather stripping off. And all that stuff is pretty simple. So I'm gonna get those out of the way first, and then I'll pick you back up. We'll talk about the next step. Well, folks, I'm gonna admit defeat. I've been screwing around with this windshield for, geez, I think it's over 2 hours now. And what I have learned is that I either do not have the correct tools, or do not have the knowledge, or do not have either to remove this windshield without breaking it even worse than it already is. And I'm really not gonna bother trying to get the windshield out of that other truck if I can't get it out without breaking it. There's just no point, in my opinion. So I went ahead and made an appointment to have the windshield replaced by a professional. Today is Saturday. There was an appointment Monday morning. So they're gonna come Monday morning and put a new windshield in this thing for me. And I'm gonna watch and investigate the tools that they use. So maybe I can figure out, is it a lack of knowledge, is it a lack of tooling, or is it a lack of both? So that next time I can do my own windshield. But that was really frustrating. I'm not used to encountering things that I can't figure out and I can't get done. But that also made me feel like I gotta get some kind of forward progress this morning because we're about to go do some stuff and I won't be able to get back down here till this evening. So I put the dash back together. I put the new airbag back in the steering wheel. I put the new airbag in on the passenger side. I got the whole dash all back together. Everything's plugged in, connected the way it should be. And I figure now's as good a time as any to go ahead and hook the battery up and see if it instantly blows these airbags. If it instantly blows these airbags, I know I've got more investigating to do. And at least it didn't jack up the windshield. If I hook the battery up and everything's fine, then I know that I just need to wait on the module to get here next week, and then I should be good to go. So this may be exciting or anticlimactic, but I'm gonna sit you guys in here while I connect the battery and cross your fingers for me that everything goes to plan and nothing goes boom. All right, Godspeed, friends. Cross your fingers. Here we go. Hopefully no boom. Hooray! All right, battery is hooked up, team. The trouble light under the hood is on. I've got a turn signal on. Now the supplemental restraint system, the airbag system, is not wired through the ignition. It'll work whether the ignition is on or not. But let's flick the key on and make sure we don't have any issues when that happens. Here we go. All right, key is on. Let's just start it just to be sure. All right. All right, that makes me happy. So that means this evening, this afternoon, whenever I can get back down here, I can go ahead and get the headliner put in, get the A-pillar covers put in, get the visors put in, basically finish getting the interior back together. And then we're just waiting on new windshield on Monday and airbag module to get back, hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. And then I'm probably gonna call and see if I can't drop this thing off for enhanced inspection on Friday. So we're getting close to driving it. It's nighttime now. I did get down here this afternoon and get some stuff done. I had a little side quest, which I'm not done with yet. I gotta finish getting that in here. It's just a donor truck, guys. I'm probably gonna do like a real short video on that because it is by far the most screwed up truck I've had. We'll get to that later. But this truck, you see it's moved again. I went ahead, they're coming to do the windshield on Monday, like I said, and you saw me hook up the power with the airbags, the new airbags in. And since then, I just went ahead and got the headliner put in, the visors put in, the A-pillar covers. Like the interior is in. It's all together and done and ready to go. So for now, I can't do anything else with this truck. I gotta wait for the airbag module, the supplemental restraint module to get here, hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday of next week. And then, like I said, the windshield on Monday. So I'll pick you guys back up on this project then. Well, it's Monday evening, everybody, and the truck has a windshield in it. Guy came this morning, got the new windshield put in. I got all the trim and the cowl and all that stuff put in. He was super cool. He gave me some pointers on how he does this and the tools that he uses. And it made me feel a little bit better because the first thing I noticed right away is I did not have the right tool. So it makes me feel less like I'm incapable as much and more like I just didn't have the right equipment. And sometimes you gotta have the right equipment. So he showed me the tools he uses. I'm gonna try to get those ordered. Probably next time I know that I'm gonna need a windshield, I'll get them ordered so that I can try to do it myself. Especially the tools like $300 or so, and a new windshield is about $300 plus the, paying the guy for his time to put it in. So it'll make sense to buy the tool to be able to remove windshields intact from good donors and put them into trucks that need windshields. So there she is, looking good. Really happy with this. That windshield made a huge difference. I didn't realize how much the cracked up windshield was pulling down the look of this thing. And yeah, we're gonna leave her be until hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have the little airbag seatbelt module, and then I'll get this thing scheduled for an enhanced inspection. So I'll see you guys whenever that module gets here. Well guys, it's now Saturday night. It's like 8:30. And about 15 minutes ago, my little airbag module got dropped off. So I'm gonna disconnect the battery, get it installed, and then I'll bring you guys back for reconnecting the battery, and hopefully nothing goes boom when we hook the battery back up. And when we turn the key on for the first time. So I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, so got the new module in. Battery's not connected yet. We're gonna do this in phases. So first phase, you can just sit in here and tell me if you hear anything or see anything go boom when I hook the battery up. Cross your fingers for me. Okay, connecting the battery, tightening the bolt. All right, bolt is tight. I didn't hear any booms, and everything still looks good inside. All right, phase 2. Got the key here. Let's turn the key on. Hopefully also, no booms. All right, no booms. Now let's start it up. Still have airbag. Now I have a brake light that I didn't have before. Will the seatbelt light at least go out? Ah, well, at least the seatbelt light will go out. But now I still have airbag, and I still have and I have a brake light I didn't have before. Let me get the scanner. Maybe that airbag light is just from the broken circuits. Remember before we had the airbags blown? So let's pull those codes out. Let's see what we got. So I've got my diagnostic tool hooked up here. Right now it's doing an auto check, running through all the systems, seeing if there's any trouble codes. Coincidentally, turn the key off, turn it back on for this. The brake lights are still on, which I don't know why those have randomly decided to act up. But the airbag light went away. So I'm going to see what, if any, codes this thing pulls out of here, and then we'll figure out what, if anything, we need to do. I don't understand why there would suddenly be a problem with the brakes when there hasn't been to this point. Oh, it says no trouble codes in the supplemental inflatable restraint system. We have one fault code in the four-wheel ABS system. Let's see what that is. Electronic brake control module relay circuit. Interesting. I guess I'll check my relays. I don't know where else to start. Well, everybody, it's now 12:20, and I finally have all the lights out on this dash. So, no warning lights, no trouble lights. The ABS light and the brake warning light were because apparently the ABS module just randomly decided to die. Fortunately, I had the ABS module from the other one from the other truck still. So I tested that one. It's good. Put it on. That took care of the ABS light. And then wouldn't you know it, the service engine soon light came on as soon as I fixed that. And that was for a cylinder 4 misfire, which turned out there was a bad plug wire on cylinder 4. So I got that fixed. And I took it out for a little bit of a test drive and just went around the block, and it's doing the weird ABS vibration right as you come to a stop. So like you're going 35, and as you're slowing down from like 5 miles an hour to 0, that last tiny bit of stopping, the ABS is being triggered. And in my experience, that is a pretty strong indicator of front wheel bearings that are either about to go bad, or they're clogged up with junk on the inside. So I went ahead, I ordered 2 new front wheel bearings. It's not setting any code for a wheel speed sensor or anything like that, but I've seen it enough times that I'm fairly confident that's going to take care of the problem. And I also went ahead and ordered front pads and rotors for it while I was at it. Fortunately, the rear axle had brand new pads, rotors, and calipers on it already. But the front, the calipers look recent, but the pads and rotors, I don't think this thing got driven much. The pads and rotors are not ideal, so I'm just gonna put good pads and new rotors on it, just to make sure that there's nothing that could possibly jam this thing up or fail this thing for enhanced inspection, along with the front wheel bearings. I gotta take the pads and rotors off anyway to do the front wheel bearings, so I might as well just put new ones in there and be sure that they're all good. So I don't feel the need to show you guys that. There's 22 billion videos of how to do pads and rotors on the internet, on the YouTube, so I'm not going to bother showing you that. I'm just going to wrap this video up here. I think this thing, once I do those wheel bearings, pads, and rotors, it's going to be ready to go to enhanced inspection. Hopefully, it's going to pass enhanced inspection on the first try, and the next time you see it, hopefully I'll be out driving it around, putting some miles on it, and getting it ready for the next step. So that's it on this one, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And until the next video, take care.